we do here, and what I've been doing probably for the last, I'm going to say 15 years, is just trying to add value to feeder cattle. At the end of the day, that's the foundation. Add value to feeder cattle and do that with forage being the base. And then the way we'll add value to those cattle is we try to buy every day, and we try to buy everything from a 400 pounder to a 700 pound, mostly all male, mostly all bulls, and try to produce reputation yearlings. So take that calf that's a naive calf that was sold as a single and put him together with 15 loads of 900 pound yearlings that are all the same. They've all been treated the same. They're long-tailed yearlings that should be bulletproof. They're probably not bulletproof in every commercial feed yard because some of them can really challenge one. But generally speaking, they'll be bulletproof where they can go in confinement barns. That's probably the biggest thing. Our goal is to take that naive 350 pound calf and produce a 900 pound yearling that could go into a slatted barn and a confinement barn with an older farmer feeder that doesn't want to treat a calf for sickness. He wants a calf that's just going to come in there and eat, and he's got the frame to be able to, and the rumen capacity to be able to put away a lot of silage, and he's going to make him big. He's going to make him weigh 1,600 pounds. He's going to keep him long just like we do, but the health has got to be number one for that guy. We're trying to add value to feeder cattle. That's the number one thing we're doing. There are times when we're trying to add value to the land. You know, we're trying to take land that didn't have much value and add a lot of value to it by grazing it and trying to graze it correctly. And then now I feel like what we're trying to do is add value to feed, you know, through the rumen basically. And so now we're using a lot of the distillers products, the liquid products, the syrup. But our whole goal is to try to increase pounds per acre. And to do that efficiently, you know, you can always increase pounds per acre, doesn't mean you're gonna make any money. But to try to do that efficiently and not push the cattle too much. But our goal is probably, this time of year, if we can get 2 pounds a day, again, you're just growing the frame, and so often what we are doing is marketing. You know, it's not, you know, you're just trying to take a calf that he doesn't fit in this market as well, but the futures is telling you we need cattle in this spot. So we'll either, you know, speed those cattle up or slow those cattle down to try to fit that market or that hole. And so a lot of times feed allows us to do that too. So you know, our goal is to try to shoot for around 2 pounds a day this time of year. In the spring or in the summer, 2.5 pounds would be kind of normal, and it can be up to 3.5 pounds a day in that spring flush if you got the right kind of cattle. It can be up to 4 pounds. I've seen that plenty of times over extended periods. But those are cattle that are really got a lot of compensatory gain in them. So we operate on about 4,000 acres of land. I own around 850 acres, and the rest of it is leased property. And so our forage will be everything from improved orchard grass, bluegrass, fescue, I guess you say. This all got some fescue in it, but it'll be everything from that to a farm that could be 150 acre pastures that is 100% fescue and what I'd call a dirty fescue. So most of our leases are long-term leases. We don't have hardly any short terms. And that's just the way it's worked out. So because we have a lot of long-term leases, we have gone in and put in several facilities. We've got 8 facilities that all have certified scales on them. They're all Rice Lake platform certified scales, so we can ship, you know, from there. And in conjunction with that, we have gone in, everything that we have done on lease farms or on our own property, other than our starting traps, is all high tensile, 100%. High tensile electric, you know, not high tensile woven wire. I've found you can build that for 35 to 40 cents a foot, and you can build miles of that for not that much money. And so once you have that power line running through a farm that gives you the power, I guess you'd say, then from there we come off all that high tensile with polywire. And we don't use polywire quite as much in the winter. We'll a lot of times open those fields up just to spread those cattle out, because we're just trying to rough cattle through the winter a lot of times. But then that polywire will go right back up in the spring, and we'll start rotationally grazing. We'll just move those cattle and troughs right through the pastures. And our number one thing on all that, the first thing we'll do, of course, if we lease a farm, is go in there and build a set of pens and put in a set of scales. But the next thing, as you're doing that together, is put in a water system. We'll go right through there and put in 2-inch water line and put in water tanks. Because if you don't have water, you can't rotationally graze. This is a special area, plain and simple. If you don't realize that, then you need to drive around, go to Kansas for a while or go someplace else, and you'll see this as a special area. So we really try to buy cattle out of this central Kentucky region, certainly out of the state of Kentucky. So all those cattle are home pretty quick. They're either goosenecked in here or sent in here on a pot, every night. We don't overnight any cattle in sale barns. They all find their way home that day. Those cattle come in, spend the night in the pens on some really soft hay, probably some hay real similar to this, second cutting, all blade type hay, and we'll let them just overnight and rest. A lot of times we'll break those cattle up into smaller groups in the pens, so there's not too many. We'll try to keep it around 50 calves or less in a pen. Pretty much everything gets castrated with a calicrate band. I've used all the different types and cut or whatever, but I found that seems to be the least stressful for us. It works for us. We'll give a black leg with tetanus in it as well, and then we'll give a respiratory shot as well, and then we double deworm, so we use an injectable wormer as well as a white wormer. We always give both, mostly because most of these cattle are full of capiria, and if you don't give a white wormer, that capiria is going to still be in there. But we 100% use the order buyers, and I think that's important. I think it's important to use those guys. Number one is they're in those markets. That's what they live and breathe. 24 hours a day, those guys are in those markets, and they get to know the names of the people that are selling there. They've been doing this for years. There's a lot of value, I think, in paying a commission to an order buyer. Just for those reasons, you're capturing his knowledge of the marketing system and what's going on in that market daily. The other reason that I think is very important to use order buyers is, we have to sell. Last year we sold a little over 7,500 head of yearlings that went through our operation. And it takes a lot of people to move that many cattle. And you need to use everybody, and this is reputation business. This is long-term business. I remind them of that every time they're here. If there's a problem when those cattle go out this driveway, they're not on their own. If there's a problem there, this guy's going to stand behind the cattle. And they all know that, and I mean it. And there shouldn't be problems, but invariably things do happen. Leverage is a big word around here. So risk management, of course, is very important for us because a lot of this is borrowed capital, and it's important to me and it's important to my lender. And we do use a lot of, we use everything when it comes to risk management. Some of that will be forward contracting. We may sell some cattle on a video sale with one of the sale barns. Probably all of our risk management, generally speaking, at this time in the cattle cycle, is done through the futures. And we'll use everything on the options, So, we may use a fence or a collar or a barefoot spread. They all have these fancy names, but we'll use the options, whether that's just buying a straight put, or buying a put and selling a put, buying a put and selling a call, or all three of those, or using straight futures and just hedging the cattle. There's a lot of times we do that because you feel like you're at the top of what the trading range is, just straight hedge them. So probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the time I've been doing this is you've got to focus on marketing. I think that'd probably be the number one. We all want to go out here and do production. We all want to go out here and do the work. Most anybody that's in this industry is not scared of work, and we probably depend on work just a little too much. I'm talking about the physical side of it, the labor side. Most all of us are not scared to go out here and do work, but a lot of us don't want to spend the time in the office doing the marketing. And at the end of the day, that's oftentimes the difference between the profit and the loss will be based on the marketing. And nobody can figure out the market. You can read everything you want. And as Randy Block used to say at Cattle Facts, the market's got a big enough paddle for everybody's butt, and I found that to be very true. But So nobody's got it figured out, and they never will. There's too many players in the market. But I think the number one thing is, at the end of the day, we're in a commodity business. When the market gives you an opportunity for a profit, I have found, you better take it, because a lot of times it won't be there when you get to the end.